little while ago I saw a video from Emma Chamberlain where she made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich from scratch. In Scotland we would call that a peanut butter and jam sandwich, because over here what we call jelly is what Americans would call jello, and what Americans call jelly we call jam. So this video was kind of taking an unexpected jelly thesaurus turn, so I'm sorry about that. Anyway, in her video Emma made the jam from scratch, the peanut butter from scratch, and the bread from scratch, and I thought that was quite a fun idea, so I wanted to try it myself. But I also wanted to try something a little bit different from what she did, and rather than buy the fruit for the jam from the shop, I went into the bushes on the hill behind my village and picked a tub full of brambles, aka blackberries, so that I could make the jam myself. At the time of making this video, it's almost February, and I picked these berries way back in August, so in a roundabout way this sandwich has taken me 6 months to make. Not because of my expert fermentation process, it's just taken that long because of sheer laziness on my part. The brambles have therefore been sitting in my freezer ever since I picked them. In fact, I actually moved house during that period and had to move them from my old freezer in my old house into the freezer in my new house. So I don't know why laziness strikes me so passionately, but I do sometimes just get an overwhelming urge to put off an idea or a project for half a year. On the topic of projects, I'm conscious that I've not made many updates on the current renovation recently, and the reason for that is it's just been quite a slow time of year because of things like the weather and things winding down around Christmas. The jobs that needed to be done right now just haven't been that suitable to get done. But with the weather getting a bit better and with the other parts that have been a hold up now starting to move, I plan to get back on track with it all and start posting house and renovation videos in the very near future. In the meantime, I've used this slow period on the renovation front to make different, sometimes a bit weird videos, this one included, and I want to speak about that a little bit because I'm finding that it's quite a useful thing to do if you want to grow a YouTube channel, and that's a topic that people quite often come to me about. I'll keep this surface level so that it's still applicable to as many people as possible in case some of you don't want to grow a YouTube channel. For example, maybe you want to become a great cook or the next Francis Ngannou. I'll quickly dip in here and say this was me obviously making the peanut butter. Emma in her video used cinnamon, which I thought was quite an interesting addition, so I added that and a sprinkle of sugar. I was using a coffee grinder to kind of mix it all up, but it wasn't as successful an endeavour, so I resorted to the blender. And I will say that peanut butter homemade is very easy to make, but it's very difficult to make it look good. It just doesn't turn out very appetizing, but you know, it turned out well. So coming back to the whole YouTube spiel I was about to go on, when it comes to growing and improving your skills and hobbies in general, I've noticed that people commonly don't even take the first step because they put pressure on themselves to be amazing at YouTube or whatever skill it is that you'd like to learn from the get-go. People tie themselves into knots of inaction because they've got this kind of worry of anything they make not being good enough. In this case, where people are so concerned about the quality of what they want to make that they box themselves into a state of actually doing nothing, they should really be focused on quantity, at least in my experience. And there's actually quite a good parable which touches on this. I'm sure a lot of you have heard this one, but it's short, so I'll quickly share it. In this short story, there is a pottery teacher who we'll call Rupert. One day, Rupert decides to split his class into two groups, Group A and Group B. And Group A are set the task of making a pot every day for 30 days, meaning they would end up making 30 pots in 30 days. And Group B are told to work on a single pot for the whole 30 days. At the end of the 30 days, Rupert judges the quality of the pots produced, and without exception, every one of the top 10 pots came from Group A, the group that made a new pot every day. None of the best pots came from the group that focused on perfecting their single pot. I believe this lesson applies to most facets in life. If you're trying to become great at YouTube, every video you make gives you a springboard to improve the next one. With cooking, every new dish you create brings valuable experience. And with cage fighting, every time you step into the ring, you will hopefully gain new insight on how not to get kicked into rosette. It's for this reason that my very simple focus with this channel is to make 100 videos, concentrate on learning more about how to improve the quality of my videos, how they look, how they sound, how I edit them, and also trying out weird ideas. Beyond the fairly objective improvements in regards to equipment and quality, I've found it's important to try and experiment with content, hence the weird ideas point there. It's why I sometimes make strange videos to see if they work, and I think the best example of this I can give is the videos I made about my cat. I just made those videos as odd, one-off videos because I thought they were quite funny, and they've ended up bringing in millions of views. Doing those completely irrelevant, strange videos has just become another part of my process. I'm aware it's not something that can be applied in every channel or every skill, but if it can be applied to your own journey, whatever that is, it's worth giving strange ideas a go because sometimes they work and open some interesting doors. So hopefully that explains my approach to YouTube right now and explains why you will occasionally see videos from me which are just questionable. Maybe not questionable, but just different. It also keeps it interesting for me. I think it helps me avoid burnout, and in a way I think when people do this kind of thing on YouTube or with any kind of creative endeavour, it helps the consumer, the person on the other end, avoid burnout of what they're watching. Just keeps it interesting for everyone involved. So coming back to the main part of the video, the peanut butter and jam, I decided to do half the recipe for the bread because the full loaf, I'll actually leave recipes for all of the stuff that I made down below just in case anyone wants to follow along, but the bread that I made I usually do twice as much and I just feel it's too much. I don't end up eating it all myself, and the only other people that I have sort of around and nearby are my parents, and I think they're not too fond of having to eat a full loaf of bread in a couple of days, so doing half a batch was the right decision, and toasting it made it much more enjoyable. Once again, peanut butter, very hard to make it look appetizing, so all I can say is that it looks as good as peanut butter can look, and which is not very good. The jam looked pretty good, and it kind of had a nice tartness to it, and the cinnamon in the peanut butter worked really well as well. One of the things that Emma did that I didn't was, for kind of a natural sweet kick, she added dates to her peanut butter, and rather than, I think I just used sunflower oil or olive oil to kind of like slacken up the mixture a little bit, she used coconut oil. I don't really like the taste of coconut too much, so that's why I opted for the relatively tasteless olive oil, and overall it turned out very good. I'm pretty happy with my effort. Quite a chewy, quite a sticky kind of thing to make, which is why I was struggling there, but after a little bit of water, Fair enjoyed it and would highly recommend this to anyone else who wants to get creative with a peanut butter and jam sandwich. Hope you enjoyed this little weird, strange video. If you did, I'd appreciate you leaving a like and subscribing for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.